Hey there. If you're right around 10 years old and listening to this explainer today, I want you to imagine something absolutely awesome. Seriously, picture this. Your brain is a giant, powerful fortress. I mean, an incredible, towering castle with high stone walls and massive, strong gates. And guess what? You are the commander of this fortress. You get to decide exactly what comes in and what gets kept out. Today, we're going to look at some amazing insights from a classic text that teaches us how to be guardians of our minds, using what the author calls the science of true holiness. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever actually thought about what happens when sneaky, unhelpful junk media manages to slip past the gates of your fortress? Think about it like this. Just like eating literally nothing but candy and potato chips will make your body feel super sick and sluggish, feeding your brain with junk media, silly videos, bad books, or unhelpful games, it does the exact same thing to your mind. It sneaks past your defenses, and suddenly your super powerful brain just isn't running as well as it should. Section 1, Guarding Your Mind's Fortress. Now, the amazing news here is that God doesn't just leave our fortress undefended. He gives us the absolute ultimate protective gear. Take this cool old word, for example, buckler. In Proverbs chapter 2, verse 7, it tells us that God is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. Now, a buckler isn't some massive, heavy piece of metal that you just hide behind. Actually, it's a small, lightning-fast, awesome shield strapped right to your arm that you use to actively block enemy attacks. God gives us this incredible shield of sound wisdom. So when bad ideas or untrue thoughts try to launch an attack on your fortress, God's wisdom is that specialized shield letting you quickly deflect them right away. Our source text creates a really clear comparison for us to think about. See, throughout history, human curiosity has constantly driven people to search for what they kind of think is essential knowledge. But the text warns us that a lot of times, the search just leads to completely empty, useless junk food knowledge, what the author calls vanity and nothingness. Compare that to God's wisdom and true holiness. True holiness isn't boring. It's an actual science. It's deep, it's powerful, and it completely fills your mind with incredible, life-giving truth. Section 2. Spotting the sneaky invaders. Let's move to and see how this builds into identifying those sneaky traps hiding out there. If you're going to use your shield of wisdom, you really need to know what you're defending against, right? The dangerous things that attack your mind. Well, they don't always look like scary monsters. Most of the time, they actually hide inside bad books, deceptive videos, and unhelpful media. They're sneaky traps just waiting for you to swing open the gates. The text specifically warns us against infidel writings. Now, infidel is just an old word for something that completely lacks faith and actively tries to pull you away from believing in God's truth. And the source has a brilliantly practical piece of advice for dealing with these bad books. It says, they literally make better kindling material for your stove than food for your mind. That means these tricky books are so completely useless for your brain, you are honestly better off throwing them in a fire to keep your house warm than ever letting them inside your fortress. Here is exactly how the trap works, according to the text. Step 1, you open a bad book or click on the wrong media. Step 2, you quickly become super confused about what is actually true. And step 3, you get bewitched or completely stuck in this trap of infatuation. The author warns that the second you open these deceptive materials, the enemy is standing right there to scramble your brain. And listen, we aren't talking about some silly cartoon monster with a red pitchfork here. Imagine Satan in this moment as a wicked-faced human male with angel wings, wearing an ancient priest's tunic. A real, highly intelligent, deceptive foe standing right there, just waiting to educate your mind with his lies the very second you let your guard down. Because this enemy is just so tricky, the text tells us exactly what we need to do. Shun unbelief and bad writings, just like you would run away from a terrible, contagious disease. The atmosphere in our world is literally charged with unbelief. It is everywhere. You have got to run fast and put up your buckler. Because once you get trapped in that confusing cycle, the source tells us it is almost impossible to break the infatuation. You have to stop the invasion before it even starts. Section 3. The Ultimate Truth Guidebook. So the crucial point is we need the ultimate solution for keeping our minds on the right track. We know what to avoid, and we know we need to guard our fortress. But what exactly should we be filling our minds with instead? Well, if we want to be smart commanders of our brain's castle, we need the very best instruction manual available. The author writes, I appeal to old and young, make the Bible your textbook. Here you will find the true standard of character. And this brilliantly illustrates that the Bible isn't just a book of old stories, it is the ultimate textbook for your entire life. When you want to know how to be brave, how to be kind, how to spot a sneaky lie, and how to build a truly heroic character, this is the textbook you study. It is absolutely the gold standard. Let's break down exactly why this matters so much for you right now. First, you have to be incredibly careful about what you read and watch. Why? Well, because the source tells us that if your mind gets directed into the wrong channels by bad reading, it becomes literally impossible for you to meditate on God's truth. Your brain just gets way too crowded with junk to even think about the good stuff. That is exactly why having a deep, solid knowledge of the scriptures, your ultimate textbook, is more important right now than at any other time in history. Section 4. Protecting your superpowers. Remember, you are completely in charge of guarding the amazing abilities God gave you. You might not realize it, but you have been given some pretty incredible abilities by your Creator, and as the commander of your fortress, it's your absolute duty to protect them. The text gives us this really powerful reminder. Do not devote the precious talent of sight to reading that which will not benefit you. Think about that for a second. Your sight is a precious talent. It's a literal superpower. You can absorb information, explore whole new worlds, and learn incredible truths just by looking at a page or a screen. The author reminds us that our powers of mind, soul, and body are meant to be sanctified, which basically means set apart and fully dedicated to the Lord Jesus. So why would you ever waste your superpower of sight on things that just tear down your fortress? Which leaves us with this final, incredibly important thought. Your eyes are the primary gateway right into the center of your mind's fortress. Everything you read, watch, and look at walks right through those gates. So, what will you let in today? Will you let in those sneaky invaders that just want to confuse you? Or will you strap on your buckler, grab your ultimate textbook, and fill your mind with the science of true holiness? The choice is entirely yours, Commander. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.